Okay, hello. This is a continuation of my summary of my analysis of how the USA is starting a new Cold War with Russia, and we're talking about the reasons why they want to start a new Cold War, and it's to make money and to better understand how warfare became so profitable. Uh, we have to understand the Industrial Revolution, and I've explained the 8 stages of the Industrial Revolution. At this point, we're discussing how the U.S. created a constant stream, a continuous stream of conflict and war, dating back to the Iran-Iraq War, through the first Gulf War, uh, leading up to the 9/11 attacks, and then the Iraq invasion war, and then the war against ISIS. All right. Let's see here. So, to better understand this, I made a compressed chart, a summary chart, and I showed step by step how each of these wars are linked together. And I know that I first exposed you to this before I taught all the facts, so I'm willing to bet that without any doubt, this was attacked as crazy, as ludicrous, as baseless. All right. But then what I did is I went step by step and I proved every fact here. Right. I showed you documented facts for all of this. All right. Now, I know that, very few people, if any, remember any of the facts. All right. Vast majority are just gone. Right. Nothing retained. But, I mean, that's something that I can't help. All right. So, now we're talking about the Iraq invasion war. This is Bush number two's war. And to get this war, they conducted a clever bait and switch, using the attack by Al Qaeda to justify an invasion of Iraq. All right. Now, I mean, who's that stupid that they're going to fall for it? I don't know, about all of America. All right. Al Qaeda attacked us. What should we do? I don't know. Let's go attack the Philippines or Java. Yeah, let's go attack Java. All right. I mean, come on. Let's attack Iraq. So, again, this is the summary diagram that links them all together. And I'm going to give you a real quick cursory summary here. Starting off in 1971, that's when the USA lost control of oil price to OPEC. All right. And that's right about here. And then shortly after that, in 1973, OPEC utilized its power, its control of oil price, and embargoed the USA. All right. Oil prices went bam, slammed up high, killed our economy. And then in 1979, it was made worse with the Iran Revolution. Production out of Iran plummeted, and Jimmy Carter put on an embargo of Iranian goods, and that killed our economy. This oil prices jacked up high, killed our economy. So this meant the U.S. economy was now held hostage by OPEC. All right. And then in 1980, the Iran-Iraq War began. Right, here's the start of the Iran-Iraq War. Oil prices plummeted during this war. Right, now during the first part of the war itself was not the only factor, but from 1986 on, the war was the sole factor that causes plummet of oil prices. From here down, bam. All right. All right. Now, during the war, the USA supplied intelligence, weapons, munitions, other war materials to both sides. So we fueled the war. between two OPEC nations, plus all the Sunni nations supporting Iraq. Right? Multiple OPEC nations are fighting each other. So this busted OPEC unity. And that drove down that drove oil overproduction, which drove down oil price. Okay. U.S. supplied key intelligence and weapons to Iran before and during their Iran's fall offensive. Right? That resulted in a loss of the Fall Peninsula for Iraq, which was a big blow to the Iraq economy because they can't pump out oil. And it helped build a massive $86 billion war debt. Right? Played a big role in that. And these two factors then became the chief cause for the first Gulf War. All right? So the USA helped foment the first Gulf War in three ways. All right? So the first Gulf War starts here, and we helped set up the first Gulf War in three ways. One, USA helped devastate Iraq's economy and build its massive war debt by providing critical aid to Iran, its enemy, during the Iran-Iraq War. All right. Two, USA encouraged Kuwait to overproduce oil while promising high-level support. All right, that's the November 1989 meeting between Director of the CIA, William Webster, and the Kuwaiti head of state security, General Al-Fayed. All right. And you can see they jacked up oil production right after that. I mean, you can't read the numbers here, but I've shown you this before. All right. So sure enough, they jacked up oil production after that meeting. Right. So they promised high-level support. Coordination at the high level. That was the terms used. All right. But after Iraq warned Kuwait to stop overproducing oil 4 times, once in June and 3 times in July, right? And then they placed 100,000 soldiers on the Kuwaiti border, all right? That was like July 22nd, right? Soldiers poised to attack. The USA gave Kuwait 3 unequivocal green light signals. Right? Now, that's more than leaving them hung out to dry. That's an open invitation to attack. Right? The exact opposite of what you should do. All right. Now, the first Gulf War, like the Iran-Iraq War, destroyed OPEC unity. Right? And caused oil prices to plunge, just like the Iran-Iraq War. Oil prices plunged for the next 9 years due to the fact that OPEC was busted. First Gulf War also became the primary source of bin Laden's motives to attack the USA. 4 out of 6 of his main motives were due to the Gulf War. So continue this review using the diagram above, starting at the first Gulf War. All right, so here we talked about the Iran-Iraq War, all this stuff, and I can't explain this all again. I know it's probably all faded and gone through your brains, but I can't keep teaching it all over again. Here's the first Gulf War, right? Had a big effect on oil price, drop in oil price. Now, it did so by creating massive debt for both Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, especially Saudi Arabia, right? They became the key obstacle to OPEC unity because they had doubled their oil production capacity with the blockage of export from Iraq, right? And with the Great War debt, they could not reduce production from their doubled capacity. Production quota. All right. That destroyed OPEC unity for 9 years because of their war debt. Oil prices fell at a time when oil prices should have been climbing. The Soviet Union fell and Russian production was cut in half. Almost 6 million barrels per day was lost. That's massive. Right? Plus Asian economies were taken off. I showed you all this. Those two factors combined should have caused oil prices to soar. But no, they fell because OPEC was busted. OPEC was out of control. OPEC was flat on its back due to the first Gulf War. All right. Now, another effect of the first Gulf War was weapons of mass destruction inspections. 7 years of weapons of mass destruction inspection. They found nothing between 1991 and 98. Right? And during these inspections, the USA CIA played all sorts of dirty games with the WMD inspections. All the while, 567,000 Iraqi kids were dying due to the WMD-based economic sanctions. All right? And that was a key motive of bin Laden. So let's examine bin Laden's 6 main motives. I don't know why. I don't have, what's going on here? I don't have, oh, I know what's going on here. I'm sorry. Hold on, let me pause here. I gotta fix this. All right, I'm back. Okay, so bin Laden's 6 main motives: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, all right. The main source of bin Laden's motives for his 9/11 attack was the first Gulf War. All right. So one outcome of the first Gulf War was WMD inspections and United Nations oil sanctions. That led to the death of what bin Laden said were 600,000 Iraqi kids. But the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations stated 567,000 Iraqi kids died due to the sanctions, right? So bin Laden rounded up, he exaggerated a little bit, right? And then he was angry at all the U.S. wars of Muslims in the Middle East and throughout the world, all right? So what was the U.S. war in the Middle East? The first Gulf War. That's it. About 100,000 Iraqis killed. Now, also as a result of the first Gulf War, the U.S. permanently stationed military forces in the Middle East, all right, including Saudi Arabia, 5,000 man force in Saudi Arabia after the first Gulf War. Permanent, right? 26 bases throughout all the Middle East. And that pissed off bin Laden. He's saying they're there to steal the Arab resources and wealth. All right. And then another Gulf War related thing is the big drop in oil prices. Now, bin Laden didn't understand economics, even though he's a financier. I mean, what the heck? And he said, oh, it's USA Saudi royal family collusion to lower oil prices. BS. It was the war debt. All right? And as a result of this big war debt, as a result of it caused oil prices to fall, and with falling oil prices, Saudi Arabia had to make welfare cutbacks. Recall, Saudi Arabia is a big welfare state, right? Very little productivity out of there other than oil. And that caused an increase in Saudi poverty, all right? That pissed off bin Laden. And then U.S. unstinted support for Israel. Now, this is not Gulf War related, even though, well, it's because U.S. support for Israel began before the Gulf War. going back to 1948 when the Israeli state was formed. All right. U.S. corruption and obstruction of Sharia law. All right, so that's his other beef. Right, that's not Gulf War related. All right. Okay. So that's his motivation for attacking us. That gave us, where's my cursor? That gave us the 9/11 attacks. And the 9/11 attacks started the war on terror. Right? And recall, the war on terror was a big money maker, bigger than the Cold War. So here's all Cold War, including Ronald Reagan, the big, massive peacetime buildup. Look at Reagan's buildup, bigger than the Vietnam War, right? Massive military buildup, massive military spending, right? But that didn't even come close to war on terror. It peaks as high as World War II, but look at how long it lasted. This is a massive amount of military spending, right? Here's World War II. It peaks high, but it's short-lived, right? 1940 to 45 or so, right? Remember the big defense contracts began in June of 1940 after Germany had seized all Western Europe within 6 weeks. It was panic time. Bam! Military spending went up. All right, so we had to get to 9/11 attacks. Now, then, we're going to talk about this today. All right, this is today's topic. The Bush administration, on the 1-year anniversary of 9/11, had used a meticulously planned strategy. That's their own words. To conduct a bait and switch using the 9/11 attacks by Al-Qaeda and bin Laden to justify an invasion on Iraq. Now, how bullshit is that? Who's stupid enough to fall for that? I don't know, just all of America. The vast majority of congressmen. Boneheads. So using the 9/11 attacks and fake WMD. Bullshit. So then the Bush administration manufactured evidence for bogus WMD claims. I don't know, things like Joe Wilson is sent down to Africa. Was it Niger? All right. And he reports, the whole yellow cake stuff is bullshit. Right? So the Bush administration takes his report and says, Iraq's buying yellow cake uranium out of Niger. What a load of crap. He just said it's bullshit. Then you get all these scientists saying, and military experts, those aluminum tubes are not of the size and quality to be used in centrifuges to purify uranium. Right? You spin it to separate out U-238 from U-235. Right? They're the typical rocket bodies for Iraqi rockets. So what does Bush administration say? They're using that to purify uranium. Bullshit. They manufacture that crap. Then I'll give you one more. All right? There's more. I'll give you one more. So the Bush administration pressured intelligence agencies to give them the answers that they wanted. Right? They're twisting arms. And when they didn't get it, they set up their own bogus intelligence agency. Right? Based upon the evidence from one guy. Mostly one guy. What was his name? Al-Libi or something like that. He was an Al Qaeda guy who was captured and sent to Egypt. And in Egypt, he was tortured. And under torture, he said that Iraq was giving WMD training to Al Qaeda. Bullshit. CIA, DIA, NSA all said bullshit. All right. No other corroboration for that. Guys under torture. No evidence that this is true. Unreliable. They rejected it. Bush administration made a big deal of it. Now, here's the thing. Right? This is how bullshit it is. Why in the world would Iraq give WMD training to Al Qaeda when one, Iraq doesn't have WMD. They never had WMD. Two, Al Qaeda is one of the radical right-wing fundamentalist groups, and their main goal was to establish a caliphate, a religious state. To do so, they'd have to take down the Iraq government. So the first people they would use it against is Iraq. Right? Why the hell would he give it to Al Qaeda? Bin Laden was hunting down Al Qaeda in Iraq because they're a threat to him. Bullshit. All right, there's some other examples of bullshit they manufacture. Right? So the Bush administration is manufacturing bullshit evidence for WMD. Then they're making these big claims for WMD. Right? Plus, they associated it with 9/11. They used all the fear and horror of 9/11, dumped that upon Iraq, and it worked. And suckered Americans into the Iraq invasion war. Right? Now, the Iraq invasion war was a big moneymaker. Well, let me go HI. Let me go up here now. Okay, so let's talk more about WMD. According to Scott Ritter, who was the lead UN WMD inspector on the ground, also he's looking for Scud missiles, the ballistic missiles. Right? He's the lead inspector on the ground in Iraq for 7 years, 1991 to 98. The U.S. CIA during this time, they weren't trying to find WMD. He said the CIA only wanted the public to believe Islam had WMD and was concealing it and lying, which would then be used to justify the sanctions, which were killing the Iraq economy, and those kids were dying due to the sanctions. In fact, Scott Ritter said the CIA obstructed and sabotaged UN efforts to find WMD. Right? They screwed up the U-2 overflights. Right? Big, I don't want to explain all this scanner crap. It's bullshit. UK signal intelligence team members were leaked to every military base and diplomatic outpost around the world. Right? And then they played a game with Israeli intelligence. Israeli intelligence was their help was acquired by Ritter to decrypt, decode any intercepted Iraqi messages. All right, and the CIA played a game which they said, "Oh, okay, to decode it, the only way you could decode these messages is if there is a CIA personnel present," and then they never provided a CIA personnel, so Israel could not decode any messages. And then they played all sorts of dirty games with the inspections. All right, for example, they played multiple fait accomplis to manufacture pretext for bombing attacks on Iraq on holy days, religious holidays. Why the hell you want to bomb on a religious holiday? right? You know they were trying to jack them up. All right. And they did bomb them on Ramadan, 1998. 3 days of bombing. Right at the start of Ramadan. Right before the start of Ramadan. Right? And they want to use these inspections to get a bombing to kick off a coup. And they want to use inspections to develop plans to assassinate Saddam. Right? They're playing dirty games with these inspections. Right? Not trying to find WMD. Then they're using WMD here. Bullshit. You weren't even trying to find it before. All right. So now our invasion of Iraq causes a significant expansion of radical Islamic jihadism worldwide, including homegrown terrorists for the first time in the United States. Americans becoming Al-Qaeda terrorists because we invade Iraq. And it also causes, the invasion of Iraq also causes great expansion of terrorist attacks, including to other nations who participated in the invasion. Two come to mind. Spain and Britain participated in the invasion of Iraq. Well, both those countries got whacked with their own terrorist attacks. Payback. I think Spain was a train attack, UK was a bus attack, as I recall. And my memory is pretty damn accurate. And then it caused a big increase in Shia-Sunni sectarian conflict. And then the Iraq invasion war destabilized the Middle East, including the formation of a Shia bloc. Iran, Iraq, Syria, all Shia, stretching from Iran to the Mediterranean. Increasing strategic pipeline threats. I'll explain this when I get to this. Increasing the strategic value of Syria, and that resulting in a Syrian proxy war. Right? And another key thing was the Iraq invasion war created ISIS. I had a big lecture only on this. I'll show you again. I can't teach it all again. Here. All this is my analysis of how the Iraq invasion war absolutely, positively created ISIS. Right? I taught you all this. Now, I can't teach it all again. All right? So, for most people, all they have is, that'd be crazy. That'd be unbelievable. Let me make a joke about that. Ho, ho, ho. And that forms a reality. All right. So, now, I want to review how the Bush administration manipulated the whole damn USA and Congress into the Iraq invasion war. And I taught this lesson in multiple lessons. All right. This is my whole document. All right. I have the same introductory summary, chronological diagram. All right. But then I give detailed, factual quotes and statements by key leaders here. All right. What they said or what they did. All right. To pump up the American public for this war. I cannot teach this all again. All right. So what I'm going to give you unavoidably is a watered down summary. All right. I cannot teach this all over again. All right. I mean, what good is it gonna do? 99.99999% of the masses will retain nothing anyways. They never retain anything. All they have is whatever tiny little morsel, bullshit little thing is being waved in front of their face right now, at this moment. And that's going to change tomorrow. And that'll be the new only thing they have in their brain. All right, so I can't teach this all over again. All right. So, but that's the whole document. So here's just a summary. All right. All right. Here is 9/11. That's the 9/11 attacks. Here's the 1-year anniversary. Here is the November election. This is the leverage. This is the arm twisting. Vote for our damn resolution or you're going to get kicked out of office. Right? That's the pressure that they created. So this is an introductory overview into how the Bush administration manipulated the U.S. public and Congress into the Iraq invasion war. So whenever you see P here, that means they're planning to use the attack by Al-Qaeda to invade Iraq. Right? Whenever you see F, that means they're jacking up fear in a big blitz fear campaign. Fear, fear, fear every damn day. Right? WMD, oh, it's going to be 1,000 times worse than 9/11. You know, all the bullshit every damn day they pumped out. It was all timed with 9/11 anniversary and right before the congressional recess, right before the vote for the resolution, right here. All right. So when you see R, that is pushing the resolution as the thing that's going to keep us safe amidst all this fear and panic and terror and horror, right? Right? Oh, this is the thing that's going to keep us safe. They're selling this big time. But what is the resolution? In reality, it's a hot little ticket to war. It is a de facto declaration of war. It's a sneaky declaration of war. 3 times in U.S. history, resolutions have been used in tricky ways to manufacture wars. History repeats itself because people are idiots. They don't learn from history. They don't retain anything. So they fall for the same tricks over and over again. All right. So this is 9/11/2001. That's when the attacks occurred. Twin Towers, Pentagon. All right. Third plane probably was going to hit the Capitol. So on that day, Rumsfeld and Wolfowitz are pushing to use the attack by Al-Qaeda to attack Iraq. Right? Richard Clark said he got a sharp physical pain when he realized that that's what the scumbags are doing. Next day, Bush is pushing it. He's twisting Richard Clark's arm to pin this on Iraq. Right? And this is when General Wesley Clark, not related to Richard Clark, Supreme Commander of NATO, he goes back to the Pentagon and finds out that we have a plan to attack Iraq based on nothing. They have no evidence that Iraq did this, but we're gonna plan to attack Iraq. The general said, Wesley Clark asked, well, why were we going to attack Iraq? Were they involved in the 9/11 attacks? The general said, no. Well, then why? And the general said, we don't know. So here is 6 weeks after that. General Wesley Clark goes back to the Pentagon. He runs into the same general. Asks him, hey, are we still going to attack Iraq? The general says to him, oh, sir, it's far worse than that. He pulls out a memo from Defense Department. So that's either Rumsfeld or Wolfowitz. And the memo says, we're going to attack and overthrow the governments of 7 Middle East countries in 5 years. Right? I think it was, let's see, it was Iraq, Iran, Libya, Syria, Lebanon, Somalia, and Sudan, I believe. Those were the 7. Right? So we're going to start overthrowing damn nations here, governments, right? All right. And then this is the start of the fear campaign. The first 3 things were done back on August 26th. All right. And then right here on September 7th, just before the 1-year anniversary of 9/11, that's when a Bush administration official blabbed to the New York Times and said, we are using a, quote, a meticulously planned strategy to persuade the public, the Congress, and the allies of the need to confront the threat from Saddam Hussein. In the end, it will be difficult for someone to vote against it, and it was referring to the Iraq War resolution. The vote right here. Right? So here's the scheme. Here's the plan. Here's the manipulation. The bait and switch was to flip the attack by Al-Qaeda onto Iraq. Right? Presto changeo. Watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat. Right? Pick any card, any card. All right? And the suckers fell for it. So no, why did they use anniversary of 9/11? Because with the anniversary of 9/11, all of that fear and terror and horror of that bad day, right, is reactivated. Only 1 year ago. It's still sharp in our mind. And the anniversary brings it all back, makes it fresh. Then you jack up fear, right? And one of the first things that was here on 9/9. In fact, I remember reading this clearly. I know exactly where I was at. I was in a McDonald's in Rockland, California. I was reading the Sacramento Bee. Right? It was a McDonald's that was near the Rockland Mall. Right? I know exactly where it was. And it was an article on an intelligence report that was released stating that Iraq can have a nuclear weapon in just a matter of months. Bing! My radar went up. Why? Because history repeats itself for the vast majority of people who don't remember history. But I do. I did research on the Gulf of Tonkin incident. I know how they planned and timed release of intelligence reports. Bullshit intelligence reports. Right? To manipulate the population. Whenever they release intelligence reports, these are classified intelligence reports. It's never to educate the people. It's always to manipulate the people. You got to be an idiot to think, oh, they're trying to make me smart about this. Bullshit. They're playing you. All right. Then on 9/11, Bush has his big speech commemorating 9/11. Very next day on 9/12, that's when he conducts the flip. Right? He goes before the entire assembled General Assembly of the United Nations and says, the terrorist threat is now Saddam Hussein and Iraq. With WMD as a big threat. Right? And then from that day on, every damn day, fear, 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 fear. Right? You think 9/11 was bad? this is going to be a thousand times worse than 9/11. This is going to be a million times worse than 9/11. Right? They're going to use nuclear weapons on the United States. They're going to use biological weapons. It's going to kill people throughout the cities. We're going to have a mushroom cloud for a smoking gun. It's a bullshit line that both Condoleezza Rice and Bush said. Both of them used that bullshit. All right? They use terms like, oh, there's going to be nuclear blackmail. They're going to use it against us once they get a nuclear weapon. And time is running short. Time is not on our side. Time is running out. There's a ticking time bomb. Tick, tick, tick. Right? Before you know it, they're gonna have a weapon, and then there's nothing we can do. And there's another ticking time bomb. Bullshit lie. Intelligence report. Oh, Iraq can hit us with a nuclear. No, Iraq can hit us with a biological weapon in 45 minutes. Bullshit. Not only did they not have weapons of mass destruction, but they didn't have a ballistic missile that can hit the USA or Great Britain. Bullshit. Feeding so much bullshit. And then they had the resolution, pumping up the resolution to keep us safe. So they had a big blitz of fear campaign. Time with the 1 year anniversary of 9/11 to exploit all that fear created here. All this done by Al Qaeda now is being dumped upon Iraq. And then the Bush administration pressured congressional leaders to put the vote for the resolution before the congressional recess. All right? This is the day that Congress leaves Washington. They all go back to their home states, their home constituencies, and they spend the last desperate 3 weeks campaigning for the election. This is the most critical time of the election cycle. Right? The last 3 weeks forms the most powerful impression. Right? If you're going to change a vote, it's here. Right? A lot of people have their mindset prior to this, but you know, this is a big crunch time. All right? So they put the vote here. Now, with all this fear, I mean, it's a thick, nasty, toxic atmosphere of fear. Fear, 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 panic, horror. Everyone's scared. And then they say, oh, this resolution is a thing that's going to keep us safe. We need this badly. This is our salvation. You vote against this thing, right? You just committed political suicide in this election. Your opponent can crucify you the last 3 weeks. Ad campaigns. He's unpatriotic. He's un-American. He might as well be a flag burner. He doesn't care about the safety of Americans. He's a coddler of terrorists. He's a terrorist sympathizer. Right? He's some left-wing radical goofball, liberal, save the gay baby whales, seals, and whatever, save the tree owls and don't cut down trees and crap. Liberal. All right? You're dead. You vote against this thing, so much damn fear. And this is going to keep us safe? You vote against that, you're dead. So all those spineless, coward Democrats voted for this sucker. Including Hillary. All right, so now I can't teach you all. There's so much detail on the crap they did. All right? I mean, tons of detail. I cannot teach this all again. I'll just give you a bare bones summary. So one thing they did is they pumped up fear by emphasizing that there are terrorists still living among us. All right. So to do so, they timed arrest of terrorists in the U.S., still in the U.S., Al Qaeda in the U.S. All right. And first of all, I want to say that, you know, I expect people to say, oh, that's conspiracy theory. You can't time arrest. All right. They can't do that. You know what? They've been tracking these guys since 3 to 4 months before 9/11. All right. So when they arrested these guys, it's 15, 16 months they've been watching these guys. And then suddenly, they arrest them all at the same time. Bullshit! All right? You know how easy it is to time this? All right? Conspiracy theory, you can't do that. Right? And what does it take? All terrorism is federal. That's not state. That's not city. That's not county police. That's federal. That's FBI. One agency. What does that mean? To set all this up, it takes one phone call. One lunch meeting. Oh, you can't make a phone call. No one's smart enough to dial a phone. Oh, you can't meet for lunch. That's crazy. No one meets for lunch. Shut up. Brainless retards. How hard is that? Remember, the FBI were watching these guys for 16 months before arresting them. Some of these guys. Buffalo 6. Since June of 2001, they're watching these guys. That's months before the 9/11 attacks. Oh, then they arrest them like 18 months later. 15 months later. Bullshit. All right, so August 28th, 5 Arab Al-Qaeda arrested in Detroit. August 28th, same day. Oh, what a coincidence. Terrorist cell in Seattle arrested. Oh, that's just an accident. Then on 9/11, a 9/11 planner, this Ramzi Al-Shib, whatever, he's arrested. Then 9/11. What a coincidence. Buffalo 6 arrested. Right? The feds were following him since June 2001. Why are you waiting 15 months? You got the 9/11 attacks. Right? Bullshit. And you know what the effect was? Governor Pataki, one of our brilliant leaders, he said, oh, this proves that the terrorist threat is real. You idiot. You can't see that this was timed. I mean, that's how stupid our leaders are. Same day, same day. Same day, same day. And then the next wave, second wave. 10-4. The American homegrown terrorist John Lynn Walker. He's convicted, sentenced. Same day, 10-4. Shoe bomber Richard Reed pleads guilty. 10-5. Terrorist cell Portland arrested. You're watching these guys for 6 months before 9/11. That's 18 months. Same day, 10-5. Detroit Al-Qaeda cell arrested. And then, next day, FBI leaks a report that they're building a book of hundreds of Al-Qaeda trained Muslim men living in the U.S. Hundreds. Scary stuff. Now look at this. You think this is a random pattern? Same day, same day. Same day, same day. Same day, same day. Same day, same. Next day. Bullshit, this is random. They had 18 months to arrest these guys. What is that? 450 days? Oh, we just happened to arrest him on the same day. That's an accident. Bullshit. This is pumping up the fear. Now, I'm telling you right now, this is only one of many things they did. All right? I can't show you again all the crap they did. This is only one of many things they did. Most of it dealt with the bullshit crap they're saying about WMD. Now, here's another example of how it's all planned and set up. Remember they said they had a meticulously planned strategy? Does this look like meticulous planning? Yeah. How about 9 Bush speeches pumping up fear of Iraq and WMD? 9 of them. He wouldn't shut his mouth. Right? 9/11, 9/12, 9/14, 9/21, 9/26, 9/27, 9/28, 10/5, 10/7. This was his big one. Right before the vote. Here's the vote on 10/10. This is his nationally aired big speech. Right? Pushing for a congressional resolution. Look at all the time-released intelligence reports. 7 of them. 9/9. Remember I told you this is the one? Oh, Iraq may have a nuclear weapon within a matter of months. Bullshit. Again, 7 of these. Whenever you see they're declassifying and releasing an intelligence report to the public, that should raise warning bells to you. Sirens, red flashing lights. Warning, Will Robinson. Warning, Will Robinson. Bullshit, they're trying to educate you. They're trying to play you. All right. Now let's see what Richard Clark had to say about this. I mean, I can't teach you everything again. So I'll just take some brief things that he said. Richard Clark was the top anti-terrorist expert in both the Clinton administration and the Bush administration until we invaded Iraq, and then he said, I'm out of here. I'm resigning. This is bullshit. All right. So, Clark, I'm unaware of any Iraq-sponsored terrorism directed at the United States. All right. And then he asked CIA Deputy Director John McLaughlin, right? And McLaughlin responds, yes, that is right, Dick. We have no evidence of any active Iraqi terrorist threat against the USA. Why the hell are we attacking Iraq? Clark, quote, it is not hard to understand why, after repeatedly hearing remarks like that by President Bush, 70% of American people, it's 72%, believe that Saddam Hussein had attacked the Pentagon and the World Trade Center. No, actually 72% were in favor of the Iraq invasion war. All right. Only in September 2003, only after occupying Iraq, only after Vice President Cheney had stretched credulity on Meet the Press, did the president clearly state that there was no evidence that Iraq was involved in the September 11 attacks. So this is the YouTube recording showing Bush saying he said 2 things. Iraq had nothing to do with 9/11, and Iraq had no WMD. He confessed both things. No WMD, and Iraq had no involvement in 9/11. That's straight from the horse's mouth. Televised recording, press conference. Watch it yourself. No WMD in Iraq. No involvement in the 9/11 attacks. Clark, I doubt that anyone ever had a chance to make the case to him, Bush, that attacking Iraq would actually make America less secure and strengthen the broader radical Islamic terrorist movement. I mean, it's like, duh! You got to be stupid not to know that's going to happen. You got to be retarded. I mean, come on. Any idiot can see that. Quote, nothing America could have done would have provided Al-Qaeda and its new generation of clone groups a better recruitment device than our unprovoked invasion of an oil-rich Arab country. Nothing else could have so well negated all of our other positive acts and so closed Muslim eyes and ears to our subsequent calls for reform in their region. It was as if Osama bin Laden, hidden in some high mountain redoubt, were engaging in long-range mind control of George Bush, chanting, "Invade Iraq! You must invade Iraq! Come on, sucker! Invade Iraq! You can do it! You can do it!" It's like that guy from all the Adam Sandler movies, Rob Schneider. You can do it! That's bin Laden. You can do it. As an analysis by the Army War College Strategic Studies Institute, written by Jeffrey Record, argues, the Iraq War was a, quote, strategic error of the first magnitude. Instead of energetically pursuing the priority of creating an ideological counterweight for Iraq, for Al-Qaeda, we invaded Iraq and gave Al-Qaeda exactly the propaganda fuel it needed. Right? It fueled terrorism, you dumbasses. Any idiot can see that. The invasion, when it came in 2003, lost us many friends. Polling data had already suggested that the USA was not trusted or liked by majorities of Islamic countries. After the invasion, those numbers hit all-time highs, not only in Muslim countries, but around the world. In Muslim countries, U.S. invasion of Iraq increased support for Al-Qaeda and radical anti-Americanism. It fueled Al-Qaeda. Elsewhere, we were now seen as super bully more than superpower. But not just for what we did, but for the way we did it. Okay. So here are some big problems created by the Iraq invasion war. When I wrote the strategy for the first Gulf War, I said most of these. Right? I said this is exactly what's going to happen. Right? All right. So greatly increase the terrorist threat by A, fueling hatred, stoking the fires of radical Islam. B, validating suspicions of U.S. corrupt motives with an unjustified invasion of an Arab oil-rich nation. C, it swelled the ranks of Al-Qaeda in Iraq, which was virtually non-existent prior to the war. Bullshit! Al-Qaeda in Iraq prior to the war. The 2006 Senate intelligence report says that there was only about 200 Al-Qaeda related members hiding out in northern Kurdish Iraq, which was U.S. protected, off limits to Saddam. And Saddam was trying to infiltrate that organization. And throughout the rest of Iraq, which he had access, he's hunting down and executing the religious fanaticals. Why? Because they want to overthrow his damn government and set up their crazy Islamic State. D, motivated the formation of homegrown Islamic terrorists for the first time. Homegrown USA Islamic terrorists. First time. Not coming from Saudi Arabia or whatever, but here, idiots in the USA becoming Al-Qaeda terrorists. Created ISIS. That was huge. In all these ways, the Iraq invasion war greatly expanded the terrorist threat. Now, it didn't take a genius to know this was going to happen. Any idiot should know this. It ignited a sectarian civil war. This is one of the things I wrote. Right? When I wrote the strategy for the first, I said, you go invade Iraq, you take down the government, right? It's going to ignite a sectarian civil war. You're going to get Sunni, Shia, and Kurds all going at each other. It's going to be a bloody mess. Sure enough, that happened. You don't have to be a genius to figure that out. That's so damn obvious. And then what are these guys doing? Suicide bombings. Killing each other every damn day. Arab on Arab violence. Right? Including the damn Shia militia who we supported. Who are torturing the crap out of people. Which we supported. With Colonel Steele. I don't want to talk about all that crap. Fueled sectarian conflict in the region. Destabilized. That's another thing I said. First Gulf War strategy. It's going to destabilize the region. And then I said it's going to destabilize the balance between Iraq and Iran. Right? The main counterweight against each other. Right? Created a Shia bloc that increased Sunni Shia insecurity and rivalry. So the main balance of power in the Middle East prior to the Iraq invasion war was Shia Iran versus Sunni Iraq. All right? Just like during Iraq-Iran war. Right? Two key opponents here. Right? Now, with the invasion of Iraq, Iraq flipped to Shia. So now you got Shia, 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 and a straight block. A Shia block. Right? Leading from Iran straight to the Mediterranean. Syria. Syria is Alawite, which is a branch of Shia. They're aligned with Iran. For example, during the Iran-Iraq war, Syria was aligned with Iran against Iraq. Right? Now, what that opens up the possibility for is a pipeline. Remember, the Iranian oil fields are right around here in the Kurdistan province. Right? That's where the bulk of their oil is. They could send that a straight shot across Iraq, through Syria, through the Mediterranean. Right? In a pipeline. That was one of Iran's ambitions. Try to get that. All right? That's going to be a big cost reduction, a big price advantage for Iranian oil to be sold to European market. Right? All right. Now, at the same time, the Sunnis have other plans. Qatar, Saudi Arabia, they want to build a gas pipeline running from Qatar, Saudi Arabia, through Saudi Arabia, across Jordan, into Syria, and up until the Trans-Anatolian Pipeline, running across from Baku through Turkey to Europe, right? Across the Trans-Adriatic, then into Italy. All right? All right. So that means Syria is a key pivotal. That makes Syria important. Makes Syria pivotal. Right? Iran wants to go through Syria. The Sunnis want to go through Syria. All right? Now, this then fueled the Sunni-Shia proxy war in Syria. Remember the Arab Spring resulted in the Syrian uprising, then civil war? Well, this was then fueled by a proxy war where Iran is supporting Assad and the government, and then you got Qatar and Saudi Arabia supporting the rebels, including al-Nusra, an al-Qaeda related group. All right, they're funneling weapons and money to these scumbags. Right? All right. So that increased the violence, death, and suffering of the ongoing civil war. Iran supporting Assad and Saudi and Qatar supporting Sunni groups, including al-Qaeda related groups like al-Nusra. All right. The U.S. invasion of Iraq created ISIS. See the diagram below. Now, I cannot teach this all again, right? I'm willing to bet that 99.99999% remember nothing from this. Zero retained in their brain. All right? I mean, it's a constant stream of retaining nothing. All right. And then the Iraq invasion war caused a crap load of deaths. According to the IraqBodyCount.org site, which is actually very credible. These guys investigate every damn death and try to figure out if it's, what caused it. So this number of civilian deaths, and including combatants, 288,000 total deaths. Now, this number would be much higher if you add ISIS conflict. Okay? So now another source is the Washington Post. And they have an estimate that is lower, right? 240,000 instead of 288, right? But they also say that, well, there is war-related deaths. Not due to conflict or combat, but war-related, right? And they say an additional 160,000 deaths for a total of 400,000 deaths due to the war or related to the war. But then they also add deaths according to the ISIS war, right? And then the death toll rises to 600,000. So this is a graph from the Washington Post article. Here is the website to find it. Right. Here's our invasion of Iraq. We killed a crap load of Iraqis right away. All right. Then it died off. Then the insurgency picked up steam. Insurgency peaked here. Here's when the surge was announced. Right. Then it tapered off. Right. Here is when U.S. officially declared the war over. That was the Obama. All right. And there's still some deaths going on. Right. And then here is ISIS, right, kicks up, and you got a whole crap load of deaths, right? So, I mean, you can say that this USA is responsible for this because ISIS happened. All this happened because U.S. invaded Iraq. You get idiots say, "Oh, this happened because Obama pulled out here." Bullshit. ISIS was formed with the Iraq invasion. This is all Bush. This is on Bush. All right. Bunch of idiots. Halfwits. So now, this is an estimate. 600,000 deaths due to the U.S. invasion of Iraq. That's over 500,000. That's like all those Iraqi kids died from the first Gulf War. Right? A lot of deaths. A lot of crap we're doing in the Middle East. So now the total deaths from the 9/11 attacks were 2,996 on 9/11. The ratio 600,000 divided by 2,996 is 200 to 1. Now, I've heard many people say this. A lot of people are stupid enough to believe this. oh, the Iraq invasion war was justified because we had 9/11, right? But 200 times more people were killed in Iraq invasion and ISIS wars than were killed in 9/11, and the Iraq invasion war was completely unjustified since Iraq had nothing to do with 9/11 attacks, nor had WMD. Thus, we caused the death of over 200 times more people than died on 9/11 for no reason. Don't tell me this war is justified by 9/11. Bullshit. You got to be an idiot to believe that. Well, there's a lot of American idiots. A lot of retard rednecks running around in America. Playing their banjos and chewing tobacco. Spitting on some dog's head. There's no question that bin Laden was an evil scumbag. Right? Plus, he was stupid. But, to be honest, who was a bigger terrorist? Bin Laden or Bush? Who killed more? Be honest. Way more. Who created a bullshit lying war? There is no question that the Iraq invasion war was strategic idiocy of the highest order. But it was a big moneymaker for the U.S. power elite. Right here, I showed you so many ways they made money off this war. I can't teach this all again. I know you don't retain anything. You don't remember anything. I can't teach it all again. Why are Americans so determined to defend and protect the U.S. power elite when they share none of the profits from their evil wars? Americans really only are protecting their petty, pathetic, prideful, ego identification with their country, with the USA, which is more important to them than morality, right or wrong, good and evil. For the narcissistic, ego-driven, self-serving patriots, I hate patriotic people. It's all about self. Not about country. It's about self. It's about their country. It is all about self. Me, me, me. Mine, mine, mine. USA, USA. We're number one. We're number one. Let me wave my damn stupid flag. Make me feel good about myself. I swear I cannot stand patriotic people. They are so full of, well, you know what. No honesty, no decency, no morality. Now, if the liars are going to attack anything, see, this is a typical method liars do. There's many methods that they'll lie. Aggressive humor, whip up anger, right? Ad hominem attacks. Another method of lying is shift all focus off of all the facts, right? Everything I teach here, shift it off of all this, place all focus onto one little itty bitty thing. The one thing that is not a proven fact. This is my opinion. Right? They'll focus everything onto the attack here. Oh, he's bullshit. We're doing this because we're really noble and good. We support this. Right? I'm a good person. I'm a moral person. I'm not narcissistic. Right? They'll make an argument here. They'll make their big Custer's last stand right here. And say, see, it's all wrong because this is wrong. That's what the bullshit liars are going to do. Just watch. I mean, plus they're ignorant and stupid. They don't retain any facts. And then having no facts, they can believe whatever the hell makes them feel good. That's exactly what they do. They're pathetic. All right. So now I want to get to the summary. On September 7th, 2002, the Bush administration openly bragged that they had a meticulously planned strategy to manipulate the U.S. public, Congress, and allies to take action against Saddam. They further bragged that their strategy would make it, quote, difficult for someone to vote against the Iraq war resolution. And that resolution, which authorized the president to use military force, was their hot little ticket to war, which then they wasted no time using. The following spring, they used it. March 20th, we're going to war. The Bush administration manipulated the U.S. public and Congress with a bait and switch, timed with the one-year anniversary of 9/11. In this way, they exploited all the fear, horror, and hate that was created by the Al-Qaeda attack on 9/11, and then deceptively dumped that onto Iraq, who had nothing to do with the 9/11 attacks. And it worked. Americans were suckered. Americans were duped. Americans were manipulated. And no one was the wiser. They all fell for it. Are people really that stupid? You better believe it. Too often. But also, fear-mongering worked. Fear-mongering exploits irrational, blind emotions, which are always more powerful than logic and reason. I can go through so many wars that were started using fear-mongering. Right? It always works. People are suckers for it all the time. And you know what? It's going to work the very next time it's used. I swear. I'm trying to stop this from happening again. But history repeats itself because people are idiots. They never learn. They fall for the same crap forever. Basic framework for the Bush administration's meticulously planned strategy to manipulate Congress and the U.S. public into accepting the Iraq invasion war is outlined below. I'm going to take a break. My throat's getting sore. I got to get a cough drop here. All right, I'm back. Okay. So this is the basic elements of Bush's meticulously planned strategy. First, it was the fear campaign. Blitz, because that's what it was. It was a massive blitz. Fear, 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 fear. Was timed to coincide with the one-year anniversary of 9/11, which would reactivate all the fear, horror, and terror of the 9/11 attacks. The reawakened terror of that day would then be dumped upon Iraq with a bait and switch. For example, Bush's September 12th speech before the entire General Assembly of the United Nations, in which he switched the terror threat from bin Laden to Saddam. Presto changeo. Pulled the rabbit out of his butt. The fear of Saddam's WMD would be driven into American minds through an unrelenting, full-on blitz of fear every damn day for over a month. Oh, WMD is going to be thousands of times worse than 9/11. It's going to be unspeakable. You can't imagine how bad. You don't want to have a mushroom cloud for a smoking gun. Iraq's going to use nuclear blackmail. Time is short. Time is running out. We must act now before it's too late. Iraq can hit us with a biological weapon attack within 45 minutes. Bush is citing Blair. And that came from a bullshit British military intelligence report. Same thing. leak the bullshit to manipulate the people. I mean, this is total bullshit. No WMD, no ballistic missiles, right? The only way to hit USA or Britain from Iraq, 45 minutes, is with a ballistic missile. We cleared out the Scuds. And the Scuds are medium, Scuds are short-range missiles. A Scud can hit like Israel from Iraq. I mean, there's different Scud versions, but they're no more than 200-300-mile range. That's nothing. Maybe 400 mile, the maximum range for Saddam is going to use WMD on the USA. That was total bullshit, right? One, Iraq had no WMD. Two, that assumes Saddam is suicidal. He uses WMD. He's a dead man. And he wasn't suicidal. How do we know that? Well, how did they find him? The coward was hiding in a hole. Right? That's not suicidal. That's a cringing coward. Saddam is going to give WMD to terrorists who are going to use it on the USA. This was total bullshit. One, Iraq had no WMD. Two, the terrorists who hated and targeted USA were all those crazy religious fundamentalists. And their number one goal was not to attack the U.S., but to establish a caliphate. That was their number one goal. Richard Clarke said that. An Islamic State. And to do so, they would attempt to take down a Middle East government like Iraq. Right? Therefore, the most likely target of a WMD take was Iraq. Why the hell would Saddam give a WMD to them? If he had one, which he didn't. That's stupid. He's hunting them down. The 2006 Senate Intelligence Report said Saddam was hunting down these radical fundamentalists because they threatened him. And he's executing them. He's knocking them off. Why? For the benefit of the USA? Hell no. He's protecting his own fat ass. Three, and don't forget, the USA CIA obstructed and sabotaged WMD inspections between 1991 and 98 and played all sorts of dirty games with the inspections. All the while, 567,000 Iraqi kids were dying due to the sanctions based on WMD. According to Scott Ritter, the lead weapons inspector on the ground in Iraq between 91 and 98, the USA CIA did not care about finding WMD. They only wanted to exploit the fear that Saddam was lying and hiding WMD. In this case, that fear was used to justify a war. During the height of the Manufactured Fear Blitz campaign, the war resolution was introduced as a thing that would keep America safe. In reality, however, it will be used as carte blanche for war. And this would be the third time in U.S. history that a congressional resolution was used to manipulate the nation into war. Spanish-American War, Gulf of Tonkin Vietnam War, and now the Iraq Invasion War. Nevertheless, history repeated itself, and our congressional leaders fell for the trick again. Why? Because no one remembers history. People are idiots. They don't retain history. You know, honestly, right here, when they on 9/9, right here, when they released that first intelligence report, bing, my radar went up. Right? I knew something was in play. I'm willing to bet I'm about the only person in the damn country, probably the only person in the whole country, who knew something was going on right then. They're planning something dirty. I'm willing to bet. If I'm not the only one, there's certainly very few people who figured that out. Bush administration pushed Congressman hard to hold the resolution vote right before October 15th recess, when congressmen leave Washington to go back to their home constituencies to do last-minute desperate campaigning before the election. Given the totally toxic atmosphere of fear the Bush administration concocted, thick with fear, given that the resolution was touted as a thing that would keep Americans safe, to vote against the resolution right before congressmen go home to their constituencies to campaign during the critical last 3 weeks would be political suicide. Your opponent could paint you as a terrorist lover, a terrorist coddler, an irresponsible extreme liberal, callous to the safety and well-being of Americans. You don't give a crap about Americans. Right? So here is a visual diagram of their meticulously planned strategy. The red line represents the fear campaign, the Blitz fearmonger campaign. Time with 9/11 to use all the fear from the 9/11 attacks 1 year ago, dump it on Iraq. And then the green is when they push the resolution. Right? Right before the vote. Here's the resolution vote. You sell the resolution. Oh, this is going to keep us safe. All this fear. Well, we need this resolution. Here's the last 3 weeks before the vote. Here's the election. First Tuesday in November. Right? Here's a congressional recess. Got to get this vote before this because then they leave Congress. They go home. Home stretch for the campaign right here. Most critical time. Now, all of the following were timed to coincide with the 1 year anniversary of 9/11 and or the congressional resolution and or the November election. So all these were timed. A coordinated and meticulously planned strategy to manipulate Congress and the masses into an invasion of Iraq. Non-stop daily barrage of fear-mongering by Bush administration officials for over a month. Oh, what WMD is going to be so terrible. You think 9/11's bad? You've seen nothing yet. It's going to be crazy bad. Thousands of times worse. Many more people killed. Millions of people killed. There's going to be a mushroom cloud for a smoking gun. Oh, there's a ticking time bomb. Time's running out. Nuclear blackmail. All the bullshit they said. And then you had 8 FBI arrests or illegal actions. All clearly timed. 9 Bush speeches or press releases. I mean, 9 of them. 7 intelligence reports released, hyping up fear. All bullshit. Remember, whenever they declassify and release intelligence reports, it's never meant to educate you. It's meant to manipulate you. It should always set off warning bells in your mind. It's a classic method of manipulation to get wars. And it worked perfectly. Driven by a blitz of fear mongering and leveraged by the threat of election loss, cowardly congressmen voted resoundingly for the Iraq invasion war, ceding to the president authority to wage war. This is essentially a declaration of war. Little different. The resolution authorized the president to use military force and was every bit a de facto declaration of war. With the war resolution in hand, the Bush administration had its hot little ticket to war. And they used it just 6 months later, starting the Iraq invasion war on March 20, 2003. 72% of the U.S. population supported the U.S. military invasion of Iraq back in 2003. That's how stupid Americans are, I swear. Bunch of redneck retards. Suckers fell for this. And just as Karl Rove, chief Republican strategist, had planned, the focus on terror and war helped the Republican Party take control of both House and Senate away from the Democrats. So prior to this election in 2002, Democrats controlled both the House and the Senate. Then they lost it. Both of them. Just like it reminds you of LBJ, right? How he ran on the peace ticket while they're manufacturing the Gulf of Tonkin incident. And then after the Gulf of Tonkin incident, LBJ's popularity, approval rating doubled. Went from low 30s to high 60%. And then he rolled into the November election and won by a landslide. Same thing happened. Outcomes of the Iraq invasion war greatly increased the terrorist threat in terms of size, viciousness, worldwide, homegrown, and ISIS. Other nations that joined the USA invasion became terrorist targets. UK and Spain. U.S. invasion ignited a sectarian civil war. Arabs killing each other every damn day. Sunni Shia. Destabilized the region by creating a Shia bloc. Iran, Iraq, Syria. Offering a direct shot pipeline from Iran to the Mediterranean. A significant financial advantage, which means a significant strategic advantage. Iran's pipeline ambition, conflict with Qatar, Saudi plans for a gas pipeline through Syria to the Trans-Anatolian pipeline, tapping into the European market. Sunni Shia competition over Syria fueled a proxy war in Syria, increasing the killing and suffering of the civilian population there. Good job. U.S. invasion of Iraq created ISIS, a radical gang of brutal killers. You know those ISIS clowns are bad news. U.S. did the lion's share of radicalizing these scumbags. All the torture, humiliation, all the screwed up policies, all the violence of war. U.S. Iraq invasion war caused as much as 600,000 deaths if you combine both the Iraq invasion war and ISIS war. Right? Neocons had planned to overthrow 7 governments in 5 years. Right? Iraq, Iran, Libya, Syria, Sudan, Lebanon, Somalia. Right? Government overthrow and/or civil wars in Iraq, Libya, and Syria created chaos, turned them into failed states, which made them into safe havens and hotbeds for terrorist groups like ISIS. That was stupid. Totally anti-strategic. All right. So here's the Bush administration excuse or rationalization. Oh, it's not our fault because we're just the victims of bad intelligence. We were given bad intelligence. Bullshit. They manufactured false intelligence. Remember I told you about the yellow cake out of Africa? I think it was Niger. Joel Wilson was ambassador down there. He sent on a fact-finding mission to verify the rumors. He came back and said, bullshit, they're false. Bush then took that and said, oh, it's true. Iraq is buying tons of yellow cake out of. They were told it's false, and they lied. Same thing with aluminum tubes. Told that they're not suitable for centrifuges to purify U-235. They're typical bodies for Iraqi rocket bodies. Right? They used evidence rejected by intelligence agencies as unreliable or untrue, like training for WMD. There was one person, this guy that was captured and sent to Egypt, rendition to Egypt where he is tortured, and under torture, he said that, oh, Iraq is giving training on WMD. There was no corroborating evidence. No one else said it. Iraq had no WMD, so why would they be training people on WMD if they had no WMD? Plus, why would they give radical fundamentalists WMD when the first country to use it on would be Iraq? Who's that stupid? No one's that stupid. You think Saddam's that stupid? He's hunting these guys down, and he's executing them. Why would he give them WMD? Only Americans are stupid enough to think, oh yeah, he's going to give them WMD. Only the American press is that stupid. Bunch of idiots. Wolf Blitzer at CNN. Bunch of retards. And then the Bush administration pressured intelligence agencies to give them evidence they wanted. And when they didn't give it, they made their own damn intelligence agency in the basement of the Pentagon and relied almost exclusively upon the testimony of one man, Chalabi, right? He was the bullshit source of mobile bioweapons factories on wheels. He made that crap up. Chalabi was a banker, an oil mogul. He was convicted bank fraud felon. He was a leader of the Iraqi National Congress, right? The opposition party in exile, and he wanted to be president of Iraq. And Wolfowitz pushed to get him to be president. The scumbag, corrupt bastard Wolfowitz. German intelligence agencies warned that Chalabi was a known fabricator. Quote, a known fabricator. In fact, Chalabi's nickname was the Fabricator. Look it up. Google Chalabi Fabricator. And some, the Bush gang, were not victims of bad intelligence. They were perpetrators of false intelligence. They fabricated false intelligence. They made the crap up to get a war. Now, why does the average self-loving, patriotic American desperately deny all the facts and support U.S. aggression and conflict creation in the Middle East. One, they don't remember any facts. Do they share in the power of these profits? Hell no. So what's their motive? What do they get out of their unwavering support for all the dirty, evil crap the USA does? Answer: ego affirmation. USA be good country. We do no evil. We only good. USA, USA. Me feel good now. Me feel good. USA, USA. They get to wave their flag and feel good about themselves. You know, that's so friggin' pathetic and petty. I can't stand people like this. Right? No commitment to truth. No commitment to morality. No commitment to right or wrong. The little petty, worthless people would rather support evil to make themselves feel good than to do what is right and moral and godly. They throw aside, they do. Right? Now they're going to say they don't, but in their minds, they manipulate, twist, distort crap to believe what they want to believe. Now they're going to attack this. No, I don't. I don't do this. I be good person. For real. I believe in Superman and American Pie and Captain America. Yeah. That's my reality. They don't remember any facts. Any real facts. They just believe the crap they want to believe. And they can do so. Why? Because they don't remember anything. They don't retain squat. And then social reality is going to help them. With some stupid lie. Shift all focus onto it. Works every damn time. So little or no facts will be retained by the masses immediately after I teach this. I swear, if I ask the average person who paid attention, 99.999% never pay attention. 99.99999% retain nothing right after I teach this. But a few of the rare honest people will retain the overall impression. However, with no facts remembered, that overall impression will be completely faded away in 24 hours. Then the liars scum know this, so then they'll launch a big, stupid, simple, baseless wave attack written in a 10-second blurb for a fourth grader, and it'll work like it has thousands and thousands of times before. Every damn time they use it, it works. The masses will not stop falling for this trick forever. Will not. Never will they stop falling for it. So here's the war on terror, the big money maker. Here's the Iraq invasion war, manufactured by the Bush administration. All right. So I'm not going to read this whole thing again. I'll just say that when I started, I presented this overall summary diagram, and I know that people didn't know jack squat about it, right? No facts in the head. So they're thinking, oh, unbelievable, unbelievable. They attacked this, right? Well, I went through every single one of these. It's in incredible detail. I proved every fact right with factual detail. But you know, I know the masses retain none of that. Nothing's going to stick. Nothing ever sticks in their brains. They're going to deny that. But no fact, no real facts will stick. So all this is bullshit in their brains. They're going to say, there's no facts for that. Yeah, you just don't remember any facts. Nothing sticks in your brains. You're like a leaking sieve. And I'm like the little Dutch boy. Trying to plug, it's impossible. So many holes in your head, nothing's going to stick. So what are you in then? The Great White Wall. Big blank empty wall. Tabula rasa. Blank slate.